The first draft of the screenplay would have cost millions of dollars more to shoot. King wanted it to be on a much more epic scale, with more complex sequences. This would be the first of two major deductions to the film, along with the censoring of what did get filmed. A scene of the man being killed by the lawnmower was cut from the script. In the final film, we do see the hammock, his beer cans, and the portable TV he was watching baseball on. It seems we only get a glimpse of his chewed-up body. A house on a suburban street in Wilmington, the sound of a baseball game between the Braves and the Mets, cut to the back lawn, close-up on a lawnmower. The lawnmower is surrounded by empty generic beer cans. One comes into the frame and bounces off the mower's pull-cord housing. Shit-faced homeowner says 2 points. Cut to the back lawn, wider. The shit-faced homeowner is in a cord hammock. About half the lawn is mowed. In the middle is a square of high green grass, and that's where the SH is lying, with a battery-powered Sony TV in his lap and a cooler filled with generic beer beside his hammock. The lawnmower, which we should already distrust, is about 40 feet away, a lane of cut grass behind it, a lot of high grass ahead of it. The SH fishes in the cooler for another beer and gets it. He almost falls out of the hammock in the process. He pops the top and stares down at the watchman in his lap. He burps. SH says, "I don't care how much you're worth, Mr. Ted Turner. When you bought the Braves, you got a big old booger shot surprise, didn't you?" Cut to the lawnmower. The starter whirs, stops, whirs again. The lawnmower roars into life, belching blue smoke. Cut to the SH. He looks around. Huh? Suddenly, the watchman is enveloped in the same blue fire as we saw around the Space Invaders game. Jagged blue tongues of it lick the SH's hands and stomach. "Yeah, what the f..." He scrabbles at the watchman, trying to get rid of it. In the process, he dumps the hammock and falls to the lawn. Cut to the lawnmower. It roars forward all by itself, spewing freshly cut grass and blue smoke, leaving a cut aisle of grass behind it. Cut to the SH. This guy has scarfed his last can of suds, and he knows it. He throws a hand over his face and screams. The scream is almost lost in the sound of the mower as it comes up to loud. Cut to spewing grass. It fountains at the camera, a bright emerald green. And as the sound of the lawnmower lugs down to a mean chopping sound, the cut grass turns red. An amazing scene was cut introducing the single-engine airplane, later seen hunting humans from the sky while blaring Ride of the Valkyries Apocalypse Now style. This is not simply on the soundtrack. The plane is literally playing the music just for me. Now this guy knows how to make work fun. The Wilmington Airport. We're looking at the tarmac area where people park their private planes. Suddenly, the propellers of a Cherokee Twin Bonanza spin into life. The plane starts to swing around toward the taxiway. Cut to the interior of the Civil Air Terminal. One of the mechanics is standing at the window drinking coffee and looking out as a Twin Bonanza approaches the end of the taxiway. The mechanic says, "Hey Tom, you get religion?" Tom is a businessman. He walks over. "Huh?" The mechanic says, "Figure you must have gotten religion if you're letting someone use your plane." Tom says, "What?" The mechanic says, pointing, "That's yours, isn't it? N975B Twin Bonanza?" Cut to the Twin Bonanza terminal's POV. It swings onto the runway. Cut to the interior of the terminal with Tom and the mechanic. Tom says, "Hey, who stole my plane?" He runs for the door. The mechanic, mostly to himself, says, "Whoever it is, I hope they fly better than you, asshole." Cut to exterior, looking into the cockpit of the Cherokee. The Comet stole the plane. Certainly there's no one in here. It starts its takeoff roll. Cut to the tarmac with Tom. "Come back here. God damn it, come back here with my plane." Cut to the runway with the Twin Bonanza. It rises into the sky. Cut to the tarmac with Tom shaking his fist. "Fucking hijacker." The mechanic joins him. Mechanic says, "I didn't see anyone." Tom walks out in order to be able to see better. The mechanic follows. Cut to the plane. It banks back toward the airport. Cut to the tarmac with Tom and the mechanic. The plane is flying toward them. The mechanic says, "Jesus, here it comes." He throws himself flat. Tom does not. He stands there like General Patton, shaking his fists. "I'm not afraid. Go on and buzz me. Just let me see your face. Just..." The sound of the plane overcomes his voice as it flashes across the landing field on a diagonal, no more than 7 feet off the ground, and at the last moment Tom is afraid as the Cherokee decapitates him. Cut to the mechanic. He's doused with blood. Cut to the twin Bonanza fairly close. It's climbing. The cowling is streaked with its owner's blood. Cut to the mechanic. He looks like an escapee from a slaughterhouse, but he's okay. He gets to his feet and looks at, cut to the twin Bonanza, flying away. Back to the mechanic. He is in, as Michael and Mick would say, a state of shock. Suddenly, sounds of airplane engines cranking up. The mechanic looks at, cut to, the civil aircraft tarmac. Not all of the private planes are starting up, but many of them are. Cut back to the mechanic. Awed, he says, Jesus. He runs for the terminal. This scene certainly would have made the later sightings of the plane more substantial. Richard Fire was cast as Tom, a businessman who owns the Cherokee Twin Bonanza airplane. Peter Lenari was cast as airport mechanic, a town local who works at the Wilmington airport. The ending in the first draft had the Dixie Boy survivors deal with one last obstacle before escaping, a machine gun-mounted Coast Guard boat. There was also to be one last shot of the city of Wilmington being destroyed by the machines, to have been done via matte painting, and a final scene at the Haven Island where Bill destroys the power supply to the island. There's a cookout, Deke had been attacked by a remote-controlled car, and there is an attack by a dune buggy on the beach. Bill and Brett have some interesting dialogue here. Bill says to Brett, "Remember what I said about the comet?" Brett says, "Thought it was a broom." Bill says, "That's right, a broom. Some living organism smart enough to get into the machines, smart enough to burn, cut, shoot, or run down anything on two legs. Not much smarter. Something with maybe the brains of a smart dog." Brett says, "So?" Bill says, "So dealing with a smart dog or a smart broom is one thing. What happens when the house is clean and the new owners decide to move in?" She stares at him. Bill continues, "The others think it's all going to be over when the earth moves out of Rhea's tail. I think that maybe." He pauses, looking at the sky. Then he looks back at Brett. "I think maybe that's when it's going to begin." Brett says, "And then?" Bill says, "Well, I'll tell you what. It may be dirty and run down, not much of a place to live in anymore, but it's my house. And I figure I got squatters' rights. If the guys who own the broom show up, I guess I'll fight."